The band of the night crosses into a merry man.
Alright, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Black Metal Rebellion. I'm your host, Jesse Morgan, aka Slammerella, and today we have yet another black metal review to do. This one is a project coming from Norway that started in 2022. They are a band called Nattmann, aka Man of the Night. If you enjoyed that little intro there, their name of the band and album kind of inspired this. And yeah, so the newest EP and second EP by Nattmann is Uvigslet, which basically means in unmarried lands. That is coming out July 15th of this year, 2023. Previous to this EP, though, they have one more, and that is an EP from earlier in March 1st to be exact, called Udad, which basically just means undead. So yeah, this is their second effort EP-wise. Again, black metal coming out of Norway, so you should probably guess what to expect. And as such, I figured I'd bust out the black metal vest here. Haven't worn this for a while. Anywho, let's talk a bit about the members of the project, shall we? That being two members. One that goes by Nedrig. He is guitar, bass, and keyboards for this project. And the other member being Rate, I think it means rat. Could be wrong. Let me know in the comment section. Didn't research the names. He does guitars, drums, and vocals. And speaking of said vocals, they are mid to high in the mix, very crisp and clear. He has a pretty consistent performance overall throughout the album. The stylings of vocals you'll expect are this gritty, throaty, cobblestone scraping, demonic type of growls. I honestly just need a Hall's cough drop just listening to them. And I mean that in the best way. Really, really good, venomous, throaty, angry vocals. Great for black metal. All right, let's move on to the guitars. They were mid to high in the mix, about on par, or just, a werewolf's pube under the vocals, just slightly under the vocals sometimes. And they also had a great and consistent level of performance throughout the album. The stylings of guitar that you could expect are these chainsaw ripping power chords and definitely a blizzard's worth of tremolos throughout, some haunting grim melodies, and even some atmospheric riff layering. Alright, next on the plate is bass. It was low in the mix, but not completely buried. It had some good work from what I could hear. It was a great rhythm and percussion accompaniment, a well-deserved and welcome droning hum throughout, and added some nice beefier fills and bass sections that definitely popped up in the track Dolgsmal. So yeah, nice little surprise there that we could actually hear some bass going on in some black metal. I actually enjoyed it. All right, let's talk about the drums. They were mid-mix in volume, good EQ and balancing, another enjoyable drum experience from the last few bands I've had to review. There just seems to be some nice, talented drummers out there, which is really, really cool because there's a complete lack of drummers in my area, let alone talented ones. They're already in bands and none of them have time for side projects. God damn it. So very cool experience listening to those drums. A lot of frosty nipples being tweaked. Why do you come here? Why do you come here and watch these reviews? So yeah, let's talk about the drums themselves though. They were powerful. They had excellent kick drums. They had an alright kind of boosh sounding snare sound. When you listen to it, you'll understand what I mean. It wasn't a very snappy, crisp snare, but it also wasn't a just thin, tinny snare either. They had a pretty interesting sound going for them. It just maybe needed to be cranked up a tiny bit. So that was pretty good there. Full toms They're really punchy and chunky sounding, and the production and recording of the toms are really good if you knew what you're listening to. This drummer was definitely comfortable with both fast and slow sections of the tracks, whether it was trying to accompany the tremolos with blast beats or slowing down and adding fills and cymbal work here and there. And again, nice fills, nice cymbal work going on to accompany the slower, more melodic and atmospheric guitar sections. Great drummer. Wish I had you for some of my projects. Alright, this is the part where I would go over my favorite tracks of an album, but since this is an EP, I'm just gonna rank the songs in order of my favorite to, well, the opposite of favorite. So, the very best track, hands down for this EP, has to be track number 3, Dog's Mouth. It is a nice showcase intro for the bass, and it also has a sick, grim, groovy riff in the middle that also thankfully returns near the end of the song. This one just grabs you, has some hooks in, and doesn't let you go, and I am pleased to have been there for the experience. Next on the totem pole down is track number 1. The thing that opens up this EP is Baal Og Bran. Starts off with some like chains rattling, so like some Grim Reaper's about to come and get you, and then it has like this slower riff, but right after it gets right into the icy tremolos and eventually transitions to a mid-paced, grim, moody section, has some eerie keyboards going on, and then back into the frosty trems. So not a bad track and a pretty good example of what to expect for the EP in general. And then last on the totem pole, but still fairly enjoyable, is track number 2, Effer de Glundtanger. This is the slowest track on the EP, a more paced track, more moody and atmospheric than the others, and kind of lets the keyboard shine a lot more. So if you're looking to kind of come down from that high from all the tremolos and blasts, track number 2 after the first one is pretty good, but be prepared to have your brains beaten back into a bloody pulp for part 3, Dog's Mouth. So yeah, that's my list of tracks in order of favorite to less favorite, I guess, but still all really good. Okay, let's go into my overall thoughts for this EP. Uvigslet is definitely a step up from Udad, and it is a frosty, grim installment worthy of the Norwegian black metal pantheos that has already been established. And at 13 plus minutes, this EP keeps you hooked, audibly punished, then thrown back into the icy waters again before you know it. It's an excellent, chilling, and venomous ride that also has time to haunt and install some ancient northern mystique and dread into you. So yes, if you weren't sure if you wanted to continue with this project after the first EP, let me tell you, the second one coming in mid-July is certainly worth keeping your eyes out for. Now, before we give this a ranking, let's talk about some weakness or improvements that could have been done. First of all, the vocals for this are fairly samey, which kind of works for what they're going for in this EP, and for black metal, it is what it is. You don't usually expect too many variations going on here and there, maybe some higher shrieks or something, but you don't really expect like gutturals or clean singing or anything. And funny that I mentioned that. One of the tracks from the previous EP actually did some sort of like throaty, yelling, chanty, sung vocals. Hard to describe, but they're definitely not the same vocals that happen throughout this entire EP. So that was neat to hear that, and maybe if you want to bring that back in, I'd be happy to hear it again, because it was a neat little side quest before going back into the main adventure. And then let's talk about the riffs. I'd say another thing, and it's just a nitpick, maybe a little bit more riff variety instead of the tremolo, moody riff, atmospheric riff, repeat thing going on. There was definitely hints of greatness going on in Dog's Mouth. I want more of that in the future from Nattmann, and maybe even some catchier thrash riffs if you feel like adding it in, because y'all know how I feel about black and thrash. It is my fucking jams. So yeah, maybe some of that. And if you're feeling adventurous, some solo work of some kind. I feel like there was just a quick hint of it once in this EP somewhere. But yeah, maybe some solo work there. It doesn't have to be too crazy or shreddy, but some higher pitch guitar noodliness over a riff or two would be cool. And that's it. That is all my little nitpicks. With everything being said and done though, I'm giving this EP a solid 8 out of 10. It is certainly worth checking out. That being said, I'm Jesse Morgan and I would buy this EP. Totally worth checking out if you're into Norwegian black metal in general. If you're looking for some sick tremolos and some frosty riffs thrown in with some grim atmosphere, this EP is more than likely going to do it for you. Until then, check out Udod on their Bandcamp. I will have the links in the description as always. So cheers and thanks for watching. For Glory, for the Rebellion, Slammerella out.
Dominus, Experimus, Extinctus.